So what did my first few sessions look like? Well, it was actually over Zoom because I was in Australia and Paul is in Glasgow. Now, I would have much preferred to do it in person, but I also, do you know what? I also, because I was in Australia, I think I would have wanted to do it with someone Scottish as well. I think in Glasgow, see, because like all my grandparents, 3 out of 4 of them, alcoholics. The fourth one, just an arsehole. She hasn't seen me since I was 8. She stopped speaking to pretty much. Don't know why this is coming out, but she stopped speaking to like me and all my cousins and all that when I was like maybe 9, and I was like her favorite grandchild, right? So even after she stopped speaking to all of us, she still sent me birthday cards and Christmas cards. Like she didn't send all my cousins them, so I would get like like I don't know, 20 quid every Christmas and birthday, and all my cousins would be like, "Why are you still getting them?" And she's done it for ages, and I reckon she still sends them just to the wrong address. But she tried to add me on Facebook when I was 23 in Australia, and she tried to do it 3 times, and I kept declining her. And then when I came back, my mum was like, "Yeah, let your gran wants to go for dinner, us free." And my mum's issues stem from her mum, and my issues stem from my mum. And my gran I haven't seen in 20 years. I was like, I would honestly rather gouge my eyeballs out than go for that dinner. So a lot of like coming from council estates in Glasgow, if you've not got an alcoholic grandparent or something, I don't know how, where have you managed that? How have you managed that? So like, I wanted to be with someone from Glasgow because like we all have fucking trauma, all of us. We're fucked up cunts. That's why we're fucking mental. That's why we've all lost the plot. So I wanted to be with someone that will understand. So it was over Zoom. First few sessions, right? So I think the first two, bear in mind, see, like I said, like if you meet me, I'm not shy. I'm not unconfident. I'll take the piss and all that. I'm also not like the loudest in the room. I think some people maybe that have met me might think he's gonna be loud. I'm not loud, but you wouldn't call me shy. And like I don't struggle in the women department in terms of like, I don't think I'm unattractive. I'm maybe unattractive when I'm 95 kilos. I've dropped like 4 right, my jawline's coming back. And so when I bulk, I definitely lose my confidence a wee bit. But then when I come back down, I'm fine. So like, he doesn't know what I'm gonna. Because he's listened to me in podcasts and he's heard me speak about my mum. He might have a fair idea, but those sort of issues can come out in different ways. So the first few sessions of the therapy over Zoom, which was still pretty fine, by the way, because I already knew Paul, it was still fine. Connection issues and that every now and then, but it was fine. And so he's at, like, it was just like, what's your relationship? What's your relationship like with your mum and your dad, going through that? Then maybe we touched on girlfriends and stuff, but he was also asking me why do you want to come? And I was sort of like, I did beat around the bush sometimes. I was like, oh, I'm thinking about maybe moving to Australia. I'm a bit overwhelmed with all of that. And I was like, maybe one of my only options of staying in Australia is getting a girlfriend. I don't think I'm capable of that. I beat around the bush a little bit, but then he would like prod me. And Paul's really, really good at his job as well. I would like to emphasise that. Just like if you get a shit personal trainer, there's an onus of that is on you. Paul's not expensive, but like if you go for a cheap PT, you get a shit PT. And if you don't do any research into your therapist, you probably get a shit one. It's just a human at the end of the day with a qualification. Therapists are more qualified than PTs, right enough. But anyway, he's asking me stuff, and he's like, because he actually has a background, and he said this on podcast where he was a sex addict. So he's like asking me things because he's had similar upbringing and going, is it an ego thing? Like, do you maybe like maybe get with women and then never talk to them again, that sort of thing? And I was like, no, that's not what it is. If anything, it's the opposite. Like, I don't know how to make myself vulnerable. If anything, it's not an ego thing, or like it's an insecurity thing. Do you get what I mean? So it's not like, oh, he's thinking of the problem like, oh, he's a shagger. Nah, it's not that. I'm not a fucking absolute shagger. I've had my spells, okay? Sue me. But I don't drink anymore than that. I'm not out in the town. I don't go on ridiculous amounts of dates with the intention of sleeping with women or anything like that. I'm fucking 28, mate. So I was like, no, that's not it. Get insecurities about getting in relationships. I don't feel like I can sustain them. And I've had periods where, like, I just get this, it's like a vroom down me, where I just get anxious and start getting in these thought loop patterns. And sometimes maybe it's because I've chose someone and they're doing things, which is also like that you need to get to the root of why you're choosing them. But sometimes I reckon people have not done stuff and just like a default. And the way I would describe it is like, it's like switching on a switch and it's like vroom, all the way down me. And I'm like on edge. And then when I'm in that state, other things can set me off that are nothing to do with that. And it's not anger or anything like that. It's like, I don't know, nervousness. And like, it showed up, and when I went to parties, people tried to speak to me and I couldn't get my words out and stuff. And I said, no, nothing like that had ever happened to me. And like, after that first one, if I'd felt that come up again, I would just remove myself from that. I'd be like, oh, well, that person's toxic. No, I have issues. I should be able to control that somewhat. So I go, oh, fuck, there must be something that they're doing. No, I also have issues. So I was like, this is what it is. I kept, like, I wouldn't say it straight away, like, mate, I've got trust issues. I would be like, nah, that's not what it is. And he'd be like, yeah, listen, if I say something and make an assumption, if you feel like that's not what it is, definitely push back on me. I'm not actually trying to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to just, navigate things, because he's basically feeling me out, and I'm making sure that I'm not sending them in the wrong direction. So that was what the first few sessions were sort of like. And it was just a case of sort of looking for trends maybe in my relationships. Then I think maybe like a few sessions in, also because I'd asked like, see if I'm going on, like if I go on dates or whatever, because I was also gonna start dating again, because for like 2 years I had went on dates, right? And I had like, since I started my business, there was like 4 months where I was seeing someone and stuff. But I hadn't really put myself out there properly, because I'd spent so long building this business. Like, genuinely, I still struggle to have time for stuff, but at the very beginning of it, I had no time for anything else at all. So it'd been a while. So I was like, I want to like start dating at the same time. I was like, see if I get this feeling, like, what do I do? And he gave me like, is it NSDR meditation? So it's like non-sleep deep rest. Like 6 minutes, like a YouTube video that you do, and it's just like focuses on your breathing. It's not actually as woo-woo as it sounds. And then he was like, this is, I like, cause I know Paul as well, I laughed at him. He was like, right, we're going to do cold showers. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. See if someone breaks up with me, well, just get in the shower. I'll be fine. But I was, at the same time, I was like, I'm going to do everything that he asked me to do. Like, see every exercise he gave me or everything he asked me to do, I did do it, apart from like one time. So cold showers in the morning, which I'm still doing. They're a lot easier now. And I think it's not like this doesn't fix things, by the way. This doesn't mean that you don't have to speak about anything. It was just sort of more building up a bit more resilience. So like, there's a fine line between you using that to just like cover up your feelings, and then there's like building up resilience. Like, it's more the idea, if you get in a cold shower every morning, then if something bad happens, you've got more, like, you can deal with it more. And it's like a tiny, tiny, tiny piece of the puzzle. But I didn't mind it. Like, as in, I wasn't like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, fuck it, yeah, let's go for it. Let's do that. And then what I don't. He didn't really have me do anything else. And then like the first kind of session, like, I didn't really cry. Like, he's just feeling me out. Like, nothing's come up yet. And then like one time he was like, right, let's go through your first breakup with your first girlfriend. And he's like, what we're gonna do is we're gonna, and he didn't tell me this before the session. He was like, what? He's like, imagine a big ball of cotton wool. What we're gonna do is take one thread out of the big ball of cotton wool, and we're gonna evaluate the full thread and take a deep look at this piece of thread, which is the breakup.